荷里活巨星 Hugh Jackman 出咗名有語言天分，不過呢日佢同新戲導演喺韓國接受我哋嘅訪問時，就被導演搶晒鏡，事關 Dexter 喺受訪前大 show 粵語功力，仲同香港好有淵源添啊！
你好嗎？
Liz, how are you?
Oh, yeah.
How
do you learn Chinese?
My dad was in Hong Kong when he was in his national service.
So was mine.
For 2 years.
So was mine.
No.
Yes.
Seriously? Wow, we should talk about
My
this.
dad was boxing champion in the army.
Oh, my dad was in the Air Force.
Right.
He was up there listening to radio broadcasts. Anyway, sorry, we're just having a conversation, please. Michelle, let's talk about you.
Me?
Yeah.
No, let's talk about you guys in the movie today.
Okay.
What inspires you to make this movie?
I think that Eddie, the real Eddie the Eagle, was an inspiring man because he wanted to go to the Olympics, and he had a dream from when he was a very young man, when he was a boy, and he never gave up on that dream, and he believed in himself. And I think for me, reading the script and getting involved in the story, that was what was always very exciting about it, that we had a character who just had this drive and this energy and this spirit and never gave up, and that's a good thing to be telling a story about, making a film about.
And I know most of the movie are based on a real story, but what made you decide to create a role for Hugh is about Bronson, right?
Yeah.
What do you make you decide this? It's not a real person, but why we have this role?
Well, I'm going to let you can...
Well, in reality, Eddie had sort of many coaches, 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever. So the writer said, well, we can't have 8 coaches, let's combine it. But I think also what the writer realised is we have to have a way for the audience to understand Eddie's journey, to ask him, what are you doing? This is crazy. To tell him things, just as a function of telling the story, but also this friendship at the heart of it becomes a really powerful part of the movie, and the idea that true friends will be honest with each other and can bring out the best in each other.
You're an Eddie fans, right?
Oh, huge fan.
Right?
Everyone in Australia loved Eddie the Eagle because, although I must admit, I thought he was a little bit of a joke. I thought he was having a laugh, bit of a prankster really. Only when I read the script and doing this movie did I realise how serious he was, how much this meant to him. And I, as a parent, I'm so thrilled to be in this movie, that my kids and other kids will get to see a movie about a guy who did what he wanted to do, no matter what anybody said. And almost everybody tried to talk him out of it, but he just forged ahead, and in the end, he's a winner, even though he doesn't win the gold medal.
Yeah, he has great strength of character, Eddie, and that's a really rare and lovely thing, and he's not a bad guy. He's just a guy who wants something very honest and straightforward, and he achieves it.
And have you guys got a chance to work with the real Eddie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
what was it?
It was really interesting for us because I think for him, 30 years ago when he was a young man, he went and did this thing, and I don't think he probably ever thought that they would be making a movie with Hugh Jackman about his life. So for him, he's a bit surprised still, is he? To me, he always looks surprised. Yeah. He's walking around slightly shocked, but he was brilliant for us. He had still all his old equipment and his uniform that he jumped in, and his helmet and his goggles, and he gave us all of that stuff so we could recreate it, and he was very key and instrumental in that. And then all his family pictures, and all the archives. He has a fantastic archive of his journey, which he gave us access to.
Right.
We pulled everything we could from that. But he was very generous and very brave, and he said, go make the movie you need to make. I don't know about making movies. You guys, that's your job. And we just are lucky that he was just such a kind of inspirational fellow.
How does he like the movie?
Well, he saw it for the first time with Taron, who plays Eddie, who was also seeing it for the first time. Very nerve-wracking for Taron. But he brought his family and friends, and he was crying at the end. He told me, he said, he found it very touching. So I'm glad. I think for all of us involved, we have such admiration for Eddie and his story and his journey, and we were most sort of wanting him to like it, really, and to feel the pride that I think audiences feel in him, and I think he enjoys it.
What works for Eddie is that obviously his family at that time were very proud of him, and it felt maybe like they were the only people who were proud of him. But I think now with the film, it kind of opens the door to let other people know how they felt, and we can all kind of feel a bit proud of him.
Yeah, and I can tell you show the process of Eddie in the film. So is it hard to create different like jumping position? You have to make it a little bit different every time, right?
Yeah, it was a very big challenge because. Yeah, it's the same action again and again, but what's so important about the jumps in the film is that they're part of Eddie's journey. Each jump is another part of his story. It's another, huge step to achieving his goal, and so keeping those jumps engaging and important and different was always a big challenge. But I think it's something that we've really achieved. I feel that's the case as the director, that we see it in so many different ways, so many different angles, and there's a fantastic jump with Hugh and his character as well that really just exemplifies everything that's beautiful, graceful, dynamic and fantastic about ski jumping. That was a very particular thing that we were very keen to have, as well as all the crashes and the height and the drama of being there, so I'm particularly proud of that. But it was difficult.
I know you guys need a lot of snow during the shooting, but when you take the shooting in German, there's not enough snow, right?
There wasn't. It was a big part of the problem because we got to a stage of the year where we had to go. There's so many elements that have to come together in order for the film to happen. People timing and diaries and just get it all together. And we had this window, so we had to do it then. And unfortunately, it was at the end of winter. It was it was around this time last year we started. So we only had 8 weeks. But towards the end of the film, certainly when we were in Germany, the snow was melting more and more, and we had to get a truck. We had to get about 4 trucks filled with snow from the top of the mountain to drive down to the bottom of the mountain, so we could put all of the snow, at the bottom of the ski jumps. It's just stuff like that you can't plan for. But I think. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the film still works as it does. I mean, sure, that I would love it if there was more snow, but I think that when you watch, you get so caught up in the relationship and the journey that hopefully people don't notice as much as I do.
And for Hugh, as Dexter said, there's a perfect jump you show in the movie, but there's just only a few scenes of jumping for you. We want to see more.
Yeah, keep them wanting more. That's what I always say.
It's the next movie.
Right.
Bronson Peary, The Comeback.
Ooh, that's cool. That's exciting. Yeah, but what does it feels like sitting at the top of the mountain?
When we began prepping for the movie, I said to Dexter, I said, "Oh man, let me do a jump. Let me just do it. There must be a way to do it." And Dexter was like, "Okay." The moment I sat up there on that bench, I was like, what was I thinking? It is.
I was like, do you still want to do it?
I'm not scared of heights. I used to be. I'm not anymore. But sitting up there, that's where you realise the daredevil nature of this sport, and what those guys do is amazing. And even though they've all been doing it when they're 5, when they're up there, they take it very seriously, because just the most minute mistake could be very costly.
People's wondering, are you going to reduce shooting the action films, or you will do the same?
Oh, going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll reduce.
You'll reduce? How come?
It's like anything in life. There's just a point where you go, this is
window.
good. Yeah, there's a window, I always think in life, you don't want to be kicked out of the party. It's never a good thing when you're dragged out of the party. It's always best to say...
There's the door. Thank you.
No, it's like anything. There's a point where you love it and you can't get enough, and then there's a point where you say, okay, maybe it's time to move on.
And this time we are making a movie for Eddie. So do you want to make a movie for yourself, for Hugh Jackman?
Yes, I will never do this again.
Yeah.
Where my character's not the top. No. It doesn't bother me.
I would love to do that, personally. I would love to do that. I would love to do a movie like that, because you're right, Hugh's an incredible action star and you can do that stuff, but I think there's like a new phase that we should
I'm there.
I think, because Hugh's a brilliant actor, and not to say that action's not acting as well, but I just think there's a really exciting time coming as well, when Hugh does hang up the claws or whatever it is, that you're going to see some amazing stuff.
Yeah, but
I'd love to be part of that.
Will you pick Hugh to play Hugh Jackman or someone else?
He can play someone else.
Someone else.
He can
So,
play someone
like
else.
who?
Too boring.
Do you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
some?
No one's going to watch me.
No,
for
I
100
do,
minutes.
definitely.
You
I
will.
will.
One. We
Yeah,
have one
but
cinema going.
who will pick to play your role? To
Well,
play
I
Hugh
don't know.
Jackman?
Brad Pitt's always asking to play me.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, really?
He calls me all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, Brad, just chill. I've already promised it to George Clooney. It's enough. Just chill.
Well, I'm excited to see a movie called Hugh Jackman.
Yes. It's going to be a lot of people are going to play it.
But I think this is the strange thing for Eddie the Eagle. You know, this is the,
Yeah.
you know, this is the true story for Eddie, and
Yeah.
and just for someone to be playing him in a movie, I think we see him on the set. He looks kind of shocked. I think he's slightly confused because we play this game.
Yeah.
Last but not least, like Hong Kong's audience miss you guys. Will you
Yes.
guys come to Hong Kong again?
Yes, I was there not that long ago. Actually, I think I was there twice last year. Hong Kong is an incredibly exciting city and a beautiful place. Great.
Yeah.
It's an amazing place to go. So hopefully, yes.
The first time I went there was in '96, I think.
Right.
And we flew in, the airport was still in the middle of the city, and you could fly.
Yes.
And you see people washing up there in the windows, and you're coming into land. I was like, I love Hong Kong, it's fantastic.
Oh, welcome
It's
to Hong
fantastic.
Kong.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's nice talking to you guys
Thank you.
here today. Nice.